Alright, part 3 of my testimony. Yeah, so now I'm aware of this thing that's just kind of annoying me all the time. I kind of become aware that it's a form of ill-natured spiritual harassment. And I'm not going to get into all the details because it's very hard to explain. But maybe some people out there know what's up, and let me just say, you don't want it in your own life, and may you never have to deal with that because it sucks. All of 2018 is just constant, and what starts off as being a couple of times during the day turns out to all the time. But I'm pretty good at just and staying there, and before you know it, I'm just almost always, you know. I think, in retrospect, I think God was impressed with my ability to just be like, laser beam, solid focus, you know, and write it out, despite what it was. And you spend a lot of time doing what's called like metta meditation after a while. When you have done in a lot of vipassana, you get to a point where they encourage you to spend a lot of time doing metta. And metta is sort of like this loving compassion meditation where you kind of like you just, it's sort of like a prayer. Of course, Buddhists would say it's not a prayer, but you're generally wishing for goodwill for all sentient beings, so that we can all become Buddhas eventually through many kalpas of reincarnations, you know. And it actually has a transformative effect on you. I mean, you do enough neuroplastic focus on becoming compassionate, and before you know it, you don't even want to squish a bug, you know. And maybe to some degree, the angels and God, the lovers of righteousness, see something good in that. There's a lot of, despite the fact that technically from a Buddhist perspective, there's a whole lot of criticism for a creator God, but let's not get into that. The hardcore Buddhist would be like, what's the point of, you know, why did the creator create anything when he subjects them to potential eternal suffering in hell? He must be insane. And I was seeing it that way, but then again, it seemed non-consequential to criticize a God that I didn't even believe existed. So I would, you know, talk about the mad theology of Christians with a lot of my friends and encourage them to become, you know, secular Buddhists if they were lucky, and mystical Buddhists if they became, you know, third eye aware, you know, that type of thing. Of course, I realize now that I have a long career of being incredibly wrong. So, but you know, hindsight is 20/20. 2018 was a tough year, and it just got worse and worse. Towards 2019, I went to the second retreat, and it went very well. But it didn't. It just made me better at applying the insight meditation practice when these things were happening. And again, like maybe once a month, something would come to me, and I guess it's sort of like the Holy Spirit or something like that. It would be like, are you sure you're on the right path? And I would just say, look, if something tells me that Jesus was for reals, then I'll accept Jesus, you know, but I don't have any of that, man. You know, I've been doing this Buddhist thing, and that's my path, and I'm 110% dedicated to it. I'm right there, and that's my path. It's shown me so much, and look at the results that it's had for me. It's transformed me, you know. And it's like, okay, but, you know, what if you're wrong? And I'm like, well, then I guess I'm wrong. But then again, if I was to choose one of the Abrahamic religions or any other God-worshipping religions, it's like a 1 in 4 chance that I'm correct. So I'm kind of screwed anyways, you know. And then I'd be like, just leave me alone. Let me focus on my path. And then halfway through 2018, something came into my head again, and it was like, look, things are gonna get really tough. Are you willing to see if your way can save you? And I said, yeah, bring it on, you know. That was stupid. Months go by, and it gets crazy. Like, I can't, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. And even my family and my wife were like, Eric, what's going on? And I'm just constantly just like trying to not become aware of the jarring thing that's just like, you know, to make it kind of comical and silly, it would be like, hey man, you suck. Remember that time when you did, you remember this, you remember that? Hey, don't focus on your work. No. All the time. All the time. Ugh. And that's a very mild version of what was going on. It's really, it's a filthy spirit that won't leave you alone. I didn't know what it was. I just thought, hey, it's Del Mara just messing with my brain, and as far as I know, I'm becoming black belt plus third degree in applying my method, right? And then close towards the end of 2018, I've signed up for a new session in 2019, but suddenly now I'm realizing it's not just gone from my mind, it's now starting to take the life energy away from me. Now in Vipassana, you spend a whole lot of time in what's called body scanning, and long story short, you will realize that something like these energy points up and down your body is something that kind of does exist, and the Indians call it chakra points, and in Asia we call them ki, right? And of course the traditional Christian would say, hey, that's like crazy talk. The Bible says don't focus on that stuff, and I 100% agree. I believe that these things are actually things that were more in tune when we lived in the higher realm of Eden, and as we got ejected out of Eden in our more corrupt low state, these energy points were kind of shut down, and we were not supposed to even, we don't need to be aware of them. It's like being much more aware of our glorified bodies, if you may. Jesus said you don't need to know them, and that's the truth. What are you going to do even if you know about it? I don't know how to do anything useful with it. I'm just aware that it is there. But the other thing is that being more and more there, but without the protection of God, all you do is open yourself up to nefarious demons and spirits to come and bother you, and energy vampires, and that's what happened to me. I was starting to get energy siphoned, and nothing could protect me or stop me, stop it. And I felt this was happening to me at the end of 2018, and I'm technically in the best health form of my life. I'm active, I'm full of vitality, I feel great. I've never felt this good before. I feel better than when I was even 18. But suddenly in the course of a few weeks, I noticed this is happening. And suddenly I can't even walk. I'm like this all the time. When I'm walking to work, when I'm sitting around, I'm like this, and I can't exercise, I can't do anything. I find it really hard just to stretch out my chest. I'm like withering away. And then it just occurs to me, like, oh, I must be doing something wrong. Like, it's not that I've done anything wrong to generate bad karma or anything, but there's just beings that I can't protect myself from, and nothing can protect me. So then I just kind of call out and I say, if there's a higher being, like, come on down and help me out, because I don't know what's going to happen. I think next thing you know, I might be diagnosed with a chronic disease, and 3 years from now I get cancer or something, because it was a really abrupt rippage of energy, and it was terrifying. And then in my mind's eye, I visualized myself reaching into my chest and handing God my soul. And then spontaneously, I see this soul aspect being kind of taken up into heaven in a spiral. And this is before I read about Elijah and his going up into heaven through the whirlwind. So I wonder if that was a sign, right? But I saw myself sort of casting away, transporting my soul into the hands of God. And when that happened shortly after, it was something that sort of came inside and was like, excellent, great, type of thing. Whatever angel was around me trying to, kind of push me in the right direction, is just like, great, excellent, And I'm just like, yeah, whatever, dude, like, I just need help, And a few weeks later, I'm in my living room, and it's still tough, like it didn't happen right away. But then suddenly, it's like God just enters my brain, and he's like, I'm the right path. And I'm just like, oh, you're kidding. Like, I just spent so much time not being into Christianity, dissing it, analyzing it, trying to convince people that it was definitely not the right path to go. And I thought, oh, this is going to be like weird. This is going to be like so hard. What do you want from me? You want me to go and scream out in the street that, the doomsday is coming and stuff? Is that what's up now? And it's like, you Buddhists that are so good at noticing when your ego is attached to ideas and truths, notice now how you're having this reaction and re-engineer that. Find a way for yourself to be more than comfortable. Be very happy about this new reality. And I was like, oh my goodness, you're right, you know? Exactly, I need to do that. And it's like, but know this, you're gonna be all right now. You're gonna be okay. And I noticed that the next 2-3 days, the vitality came back. And it was more than it was before. Long story short, it was more than it was before, and it came almost all for free, you know? And the only thing is that the mental turmoil, the sort of being aware of these nefarious entities, that didn't disappear. But God's like, you know what? It's not going to be easy. This path is not easy. It's actually insanely tough. The only thing is that I'm never going to expose you to something that's going to make it collapse. I'll always see to it that you will be able to make it. But you also walk on your own. And I'm like, yeah, you know, no problem, you know, thank you. And I'm just humbling. I don't know what to do. I'm like, should I throw my face on the ground? You know, I'm feeling very impulsed to be pious, you know. Hello, the creator of the universe just knocked on the door. What do? A few weeks later, I'm lying in bed and I'm thinking, okay, it's nice, you know, I've re-engineered my entire point of view on this thing I'm reading. I'm online constantly trying to, like, you know, find out, okay, what do I need to know? I need to get my grounding in Christianity all over again. Okay, accept Jesus, watch the Jesus movies again. Whoa, champion, conquered death, awesome, you know, all this stuff. Working hard, but I notice every time I'm having like a moment where I'm sort of thinking about, you know, God, Jesus' sacrifice, something would come in my head and be like, isn't it kind of whack that he, like, you know, gored his body up to show how powerful he was? And I'm like, what? And as these things were being sort of spun in my head, I noticed another being like that angel or something again was like, boom, like comes into your head, and it's like, hey, notice, don't think about it like that. Think about it like, you know, in a good way, you know, just it's a sacrifice, it's a good thing. And I'm like, yeah, you know. So there was this constant like hypothetical argument happening in the mind, you know, because you can't sit there and criticize, you know. I don't think that's going to be tolerated, you know. Anyways, a few weeks later, I'm lying in bed and I'm just thinking like, oh, this is really great. I'm really happy. I'm saved and I'm born again. But this noise in my head, man, this constant awareness of these nefarious entities is so annoying. And you'll see in the next video again. Just trying to make it shorter than that, but hey, whatever.